Do you guys ever feel like people that talk a lot and have too many opinions force their opinions onto you? It's like they have so many critical things to say about everything, but then they can't listen to receive criticism back. Do you ever, like, does it ever sink in? So, I was walking to the Marshutka a little earlier, and there was a lady watching me, like, in her 50s or 60s, okay? And she followed me, and she sat next to me on the bench, making it look like she's going to go sit on the Marshutka. So then she turns around and she goes to me, "Why do you do this to your beautiful face?" And I said, "Sorry, I can't hear you. Can you speak louder?" And she said, "I'm sitting here next to you because I want to tell you, you know, Gyumri is a very traditional cultural place." See, remember, I make these videos because I'm very truthful. I like to share the truth of what happens. I don't like to hide things. So we're doing that on this, you know, platform. And I don't know this lady, random lady. She goes, "You're from Gyumri, you're born and raised in Gyumri." And I said, "No." And I'm just listening to her. She just has her own opinions. "You're born and raised in Gyumri. Why would you do this to your face?" She's like, "What do your parents think about this?" I'm like, "My parents are dead." And she's like, "Oh." And I'm like, even if they were alive, we don't talk. My dad's dead and there's no connection, okay? And she's like, "Oh, so you're living alone?" I said, "Yes, I live alone in my own apartment, which I own." And she's like, "Well, the only thing is because I wanted to make sure that, you know, in Gyumri it's cultural and people that come here to visit, they're going to think we're all like into tattoos." And I'm like, "So what?" And she's like, "Well, you know, my kids, they're born and raised in Russia and they're in Russia." I'm like, "And you're here by yourself?" She's like, "Yeah." So then I said to her, I said, "Listen, I'm not from here. I live here, but I'm not from here. You know?" She goes, "Oh, where are you from?" I said, "Canada." She goes, "Oh, okay." So all of a sudden her perspective changed because she probably thought I'm from Gyumri. She goes, "Why I said this to you? Because, you know, the Muratsganner, they're going to come to you." The Muratsgans are like people that beg for money. And I'm just agreeing with her. She's like, "Please don't get hurt by what I say." I'm like, "Oh, honey, I'm built up on so much rough rocks. You can throw anything my way. I'm not going to get offended. I should know what I'm getting myself into." But I said, I don't care. She goes, "Well, why aren't you are you married? Why are you not married? These days people get married 4 or 5 times and you're not even married." I said, "So hold on a second. You don't have a problem by people remarrying, but this?" And then I said to her, I'm like, "So you care about the reputation about the local Armenians, but what about the local Armenians that steal from tourists? What about the local Armenians that steal from tourists? What about the local Armenians that steal from other Armenians? What about the local Armenians that steal from each other?" I'm like, Armenia and Gyumri has a reputation for being thieves. This is not going to make much of a difference and cover up the thievery. And also, I just stopped. I'm like, you know, you have every right to share your... She's like, "Don't get hurt." I'm like, "I'm not hurt. You look more hurt than I am." You know what I'm saying? And I'm just listening to her. She's talking sweet. She's not trying to hurt me, you know? Like, it's not her. It's like she was getting hurt. Like, "Why would you do this?" And I said, "Listen, let me tell you something. Since I've done this stuff to my face, no men bother me. And no Muratsgan, people that want money, come to me anymore. They're more scared of me now. Because they probably think I'm a mafia and that." I often wonder if, like, she's like, "Oh, since you don't have a mom or your mom is not around," she's like, "I'm just telling you this out of love as a mother." And I'm like, I mother myself. Thank you so much. I am my own child. I am my own mother. I'm a good-hearted person. I don't hurt anybody, and I sure as hell don't abuse myself. So thank you so much for caring about me and judging me based off, you know, just you seeing me. And I said, "Your reputation of Gyumri, don't worry. I'm keeping the reputation up. I'm not dropping it. I'm not making it worse. But the locals are making it worse." Like, "Tasiara gerutunete unek, katsek tser zavaknerut katsek tasiara getek." Go, you know, like, raise your own kids, man. Then she's like, "Oh, I'm going to get you married in Russia." Am I desperate to get fucking married? That's more embarrassing to tourists, for people to come up to them and be like, we're gonna get you married. That itself is more embarrassing. But you know, I love it. Someone's gonna call me now. I have a client calling. I fucking love it, because this is only the old generation, and not a lot of them, because a lot of 67-year-olds love my face tattoos. You know what a lot of people don't understand is that if I was desperate for men, I would be opening my legs. I wouldn't be wearing tattoos on my face. There's a big difference. So for everybody that kind of watches me or knows me in person, and like younger generations, when they try to talk to me, they'll know that I'm very honest. So I allow people to talk and to share their beliefs with me, but I'm also very honest, and I will not sugarcoat things. So and that's why I'm not for everyone, whether I have tattoos or not. Me wearing my tattoos is a direct statement that I will not tolerate lies and bullshit. I will not tolerate disgusting, ill men to hit on me, and that I need to get married because it's an Armenian thing. I'm not you. I'm not going to be you. When is it ever okay to sexually harass a woman, whether she's Armenian or not? When is it ever okay to forcefully marry her? When is it ever okay to steal from people, even if you look like a clean Armenian, or to be in prostitution? I'm sorry if that offends you, but to be a prostitute to me is the lowest of the low. I'm sorry if that offends people, but this is why I say, whether I have tattoos on my face or not, doing these things and appearing to be clean Armenians, clean Christians, is even worse. So people can say all they want. I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. And that woman was a very sweet woman. She had good intentions. She really wasn't trying to hurt me. It was hurting her more, because she comes from, you know, the Soviet era, where it's like, steal from others, take from others, have 3 or 4 different girlfriends when you're married. But you have to look and be like a clean person. You have to look that way only. Only look that way. You know, those days are over. That era is over. Tattoos are not involving thievery anymore. People that have tattoos, it doesn't mean they're criminals. It doesn't mean they're thieves. It means they're artistic and they can do whatever they want. So there's a phrase or a saying in English that goes, leaders create other leaders. Okay? Leaders make followers jealous, but leaders create other leaders. If that makes any sense to you, by all means. So I'll leave it at that. I'm not a follower. I will never be a follower. I was not a follower when I was a little girl. My mom tried everything in her power to make me abusive like her. It didn't work. I'm gonna be a follower now. And so I just, that everybody feels entitled to share their opinion, that's fine. But just know that I'm here to stay. I'm always gonna be here to stay. And that's it. Get used to it. Just like I have to get used to all the thieves that live here. And the wrongdoing and the injustices that are done to females, you know? You know, one more thing, knowledge is power. When we stay arrogant and ignorant to knowledge and evolving as a human species, we're always going to be looking at things from an era or a mindset of superficiality plays the game of we are prim, proper, and clean, but behind closed doors, we do every dirt in the bag. You know? I'm not here to change anyone. I'm not here to change anyone's perspective, but I'm not living according to that. And it doesn't matter where on the planet I live. I'm Armenian. Tattoos don't make me any less Armenian. Just like the way people steal in this country and this city by stealing from diasporans who come here, from tourists and from each other, shouldn't make them less Armenian either. You know, it's times like these, I'm burning some sunflowers and some dried, look how awesome. So there's a lot of smoke. It's times like these where I really appreciate who I am. I really, really appreciate myself, because I just stay so strong and rooted with who I am, and I don't let anything change me for the worst. And I love every inch of people being honest with me with what they believe is honesty, because it allows me to assess what I'm doing. It allows me to be more in touch with who I am. It allows me to see my values and be very balanced with them, because I look at everything and I'm like, it goes against who I am and what I believe in. And that's fine for you to also have that. That's the beautiful thing. You're supposed to be in touch with yourself. You're not supposed to be disconnected. There's people out there who are like yoga practitioners, healers, and so a lot of them, they're just not connected to their spirit. They're just doing something for the sake of it being, you know, on demand, or like it's like a new thing in, you know, so on and so forth. And it's interesting because the lady, when she was looking at my tattoos, she's like, this is what the Europeans do to their face. She's like, are you European? So, you know, I love it, but because it reminds me of home in a sense, because I grew up with that mentality, and I don't think it's wrong. I really don't. But it, again, like I said, it really allows me to really love myself, because in this world, everyone is striving to be something they are not, and they're striving for physicality more than who they are inside. And I'm all about the inside. I've learned to trust my discernment. I've learned to speak and to listen when it's necessary and when it's needed. And for someone who's very rooted, and this is not just on my own behalf, I'm talking about other people too. When your discernment is strong, you're going to go far in life. You're really going to go far in life. And that includes being discerning of your own self and why you're doing certain things. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, it's interesting. Every country has different ethnicities. Every country has its own set of people. Every country has its own groups of people. I'm doing my own thing. I ain't hurting anyone. I'm not stealing from anyone. I'm not killing anyone. But if you try me, I'm going to put you in your place. Okay? None of you pay me. None of you fund me. It's slightly kind of embarrassing, if not really embarrassing, is when people that, you know, make the superficial judgments upon other people based off an expectation. Is it working for you? You know, like in this case scenario, she's saying both of her kids, she's alone here, both of her kids live in Russia, and it just makes me think, like, why aren't your kids taking you to Russia, taking care of you? How could they, you know, leave you here by yourself? So, I mean, is it really serving you to, you know, get your daughter and your son just married? And, you know, it's like everybody's just doing what society teaches them to do. And it's like, I'm sorry. I'm never going to be like that, you know? And I'm never going to be like that. How to end this video, I would take an older woman, one out of maybe 100,000, one out of maybe 100, because it's been over 2 years, 3 years that I've had all these face tattoos, well, majority of them, and no one says anything to me in, you know, a negative way. No one gives me dirty looks. I'm still treating with dignity and respect, but I would rather, like, I've successfully kept away all the predators. So I would rather have a older woman here and there tell me to my face, as a mother, I'm giving you advice, please remove that off your face, because, you know, it doesn't suit an Armenian woman. I would rather that than a dirty ass pig man send me messages or tell me that he wants to have sex with me. So I'll take this any day. No problem. Not a problem. Set off. I'll take it. Because when I, look at the scales, I can't use my other hand to, any day I'd rather have that, an older generation woman come up to me and tell me, this is not ladylike to have face tattoos. Oh, you have a beautiful face. Don't cover it up. Oh, you need to get married. I'd rather that than a dirty, nasty pig of a man who's not a real man bother me on the street, harass me in the taxi, send me all these messages on Instagram or Facebook, want to hook up, want to meet me, stalk me outside, because a lot of them used to stop their cars and be like, oh, I got fish, I'm going to cook fish for you, come in the car. Excuse me? No. All of that has stopped, believe it or not, since I've had this face tattoos. So I would rather people every so often, once in a blue moon, tell me, your face tattoos don't suit you living in Gyumri. And I remember when I lived in Canada, I used to get stalked by the Mormons and Jehovah's Witness when I would walk and go places. And I had no face tattoos. I had no body tattoos at the time. And no matter what I would say or ignore them, they would still bother me and harass me until one day I was like, you know what? I'm Jewish. And then they backed off. And ultimately, at the end of the day, as someone who, lives here permanently, there's a billion and one things I see regularly when I leave this house. Whether it's here in Gyumri, whether it's Yerevan or any place in Armenia, or within the Armenians, even in the diaspora, there's a million things I see wrong. But who am I to say anything? Who am I to... Who am I? So the same thing goes for everyone else. So we literally have a Libra and an Aries eclipse that's taking place in about a day or two, literally tomorrow. So this is all, it's a sign, it's a realignment, it's an omen by the universe. And that's why, hence, all this possession is taking place by these people, in a sense that energy, quantum physics is possessing them to speak this way as an alignment, synchronicity to show me the way that I'm on the right track, Hence why all of a sudden everyone's talking about getting me married. How do you try to get a random girl you don't know married off? What if I'm a psychopath? What if I'm a murderer? What if I have multiple diseases? It's so ugly. What if I'm not even Armenian? And she said that because she thought I was a local, like I was born and raised here, and I'm trying to be like, who knows? And then on top of that, I feel bad for the lady because it's like her 2 kids, they're neglecting her. They left her here by herself to live alone and to die alone. If anything happens to her, who's going to take care of her? Her neighbors? At least I don't even talk to my family. You know what I'm saying? This is even worse, Badiv. Less of an honorable thing to do. Hence why, it's not working on her. The lifestyle in Russia, especially in Moscow, there's no Armenianism there. It wouldn't work there, So that's probably why they don't want to tolerate her and they leave her here. Mechke, what can you do? So it's just showing me, don't allow yourself to go back to the past. Who cares? Live your life, girl. And this is a message to all of you too, It's a sign for me to live authentically for who I am, what I'm here to do, why I'm even alive. The reason why I'm alive is to make global changes, man. Especially where women are not being heard. Girls are just the mentality. It's secretly let's abuse our women, but outside, oh, we're such honorable family members. It's horrible. We're not in this era anymore. AI technology's taken over the world. It's like, adapt already. And if you can't, I don't want you in my life. Say hi, say bye, that's it. I cut my own family out. I don't have a brother, I don't have a sister. They have their own lives, man. My dad is dead, my mom is dead. Jivedas. Mek jivuni mal jivnading zingis hamar baem. So it's like, I'm being true to myself, and someone give me a nice idea what I should do for my... So in astrology, and it's even in astronomy where there's a north node and a south node, it's the ecliptic of the moon, okay? direction going to another direction. An eclipse is which direction are you going? I am not codependent. I do not need validation outside of myself. I do not seek it. I do not need it. I only need myself. I only need my own acceptance and understanding and validation, and that is it. Those who resonate on my frequency or a similar frequency or want to rise to my frequency are welcome in my life, who are supportive of me, and I am supportive of them. Everything else can fall away and go to putting on a show of aesthetics and show of this and show of that. I'm not a showman. I am integrity. I am authenticity. I am balance, and I am a fighter. I'm a fighter of injustices. I am Talad.